Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Columbia. My name is Phil Turner, and our minister is Reverend Stephen Robinson. We stream all Sunday services on YouTube and Zoom. You are welcome to join us in any way you choose, as long as you join us. For more information about UUCC, please visit our website at uucolumbia.org and follow us on Facebook or Instagram. We also provide weekly updates via email each Thursday. We warmly welcome families with children and offer childcare during our service for infants and children up to the age of 4. If you're interested in being a child care volunteer, please speak with Bethany Sterlazzi. We also have a designated seating area at the back of the sanctuary for children ages 4 to 7 and their parents. Feel free to bring the toys available in the back of the social hall for quiet play. Today, children over 4 will transition to CYRE activities after the Story for All Ages. And we have a few special announcements. We would like to remind you about a special service happening next Sunday, our cornbread communion. We ask volunteers to bring cornbread and cider to the kitchen before the service. If you want to contribute either item, please sign up with Linda Brennison. Linda, right over here. Our next announcement has to do with Thanksgiving. We have an annual Thanksgiving dinner that we celebrate here at UUCC, and all are welcome if you are planning on attending that Thanksgiving dinner, and it's right around the corner. Please do not leave today without signing up. You can sign up in the social hall behind the partition there. There's a sign-up sheet. If you have any questions, you can ask Larry Siegel. Larry, there he is, right there. Ask Larry Siegel. And third announcement, I'd like to call on John Logue, our president, and Linda Brennison for a special announcement.
Watch your step, John. There's an obstacle course.
Oh, I don't even need to have to trip. I can do that all on my own.
Well, as said already, this is John Logue. Push this out of my face a little bit. John Logue, President of the Board of Trustees, and I'm Linda Brennison, Worship Chair. And we have a special announcement for you this morning, right, John?
Right.
By the way, John, people have been asking me this question quite often. How old are you?
Well, Linda, I'm 82 years old, but on a good morning, I really feel like I'm still 81.
Well, I have to admit, I'm 76 and a half myself.
Well, I was not going to ask,
Yeah.
but I knew you were young.
Younger than you, John, anyway, that's for sure. Well, guys, you know, we're talking about age because there's another thing, another organization that's up in its 70s, and we're all a part of it. What would that be, John?
I don't know, but it seems to me that almost 75, is that right?
Almost 75 years.
Yeah.
And
It's very familiar to all of us.
yeah. I see some blank stares out there, some very blank stares. So I'm glad we're making this announcement, John. It seems like people need to hear this.
Me too. You know, since I'm 82, I think
Yeah?
it's UUCC.
You're right, John. Good job. Yeah. The Unitarian, we are the UUCC, the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Columbia, South Carolina, this place. We will be celebrating our 75th anniversary in 2025. And we want to kick this off with a special Zoom call on Tuesday. And a lot of you have gotten an email about it. We want our leaders especially to participate. I'm wondering, could our committee chairs and our board members stand briefly? We haven't done this in a while. Committee chairs, board members, all stand? Okay. I'm hoping we'll see all of you on the Zoom call. It'll be Tuesday, 6 p.m., and Mark is sending out an email inviting people to this very important planning meeting, a beginning to start planning our 75th anniversary celebration, which is going to last how long, John?
It's already lasted 75 years.
It has indeed. But the celebration is going to go on for the whole year.
Yes.
And we're hoping that every committee will make plans of how they're going to celebrate this landmark time in our organization, in our church, in our congregation, with some sort of event or during some sort of event that they normally do. But we need to talk about it, and we need to work together, and we need to come together in community. So we'll see you then, right, John?
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So for us old timers, we have to say, how old were we when this thing started? Okay, please silence all devices and we'll listen to the prelude.
In this morning's service, I'll play 6 Fanfare for the Uncommon Woman by American composer, conductor, and pianist Joan Tower. It is one single work, but I'm going to split it into 2 parts today and play the first half for the prelude and the second half for the offertory.
Thank you. Please rise in body or spirit and join me in the congregational covenant, which you can find in your order of service. Love is the doctrine of this congregation. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve others in community. Thus do we covenant with one another. Please be seated. Unitarian Universalism is a diverse and non-creedal religion. Our community is founded on deeds, not creeds. We are a covenantal religion, meaning we don't have to behave the same to treat each other the same with respect, equity, compassion, and dignity. We place love at the center of our values, embracing and welcoming all people. Our board members and committee chairs welcome your questions and comments. Our board members wear green name tags to identify them. We're delighted to welcome all our guests and visitors today. John Logue will come up and with a microphone, and visitors, please state your name, where you're from, and if you have guests, feel free to introduce them as well. Visitors?
Thanks, John. I'd like to introduce my cousin, Janet Horn. She is from Tega Cay in the upstate, and she is here because we're having this little reception afterwards for the photos.
Welcome.
I'm John. This is my wife, Judy. We're from Columbia. This is the second time we've attended this organization and looking forward to our future attendance.
Thank you. Welcome, welcome.
Welcome, John and Judy.
Hi, everybody. We're Andy and Ashley Spicer. We're from Blythewood. This is our second time here. Thank you for being so welcoming.
You're welcome.
Welcome.
Hi, I'm John Hoig. I'm from Ormond Beach. I used to live here in Columbia about 45 years ago when my son was born. And I'm here for a while. I own a house in Harbison, and I'll be fixing that house up and staying here for another month or so. And I enjoy this place. This is a very nice place. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. Welcome.
Okay, visitors. Oh, go ahead. We got someone else.
Hey, good morning, everyone. My name is Emma McLean. I'm here with my son, Oliver, 11. And yeah, we live here in Columbia, and I've been here a time or two over the years. But this week, I felt a calling to come be with you people. So thank you for being here.
Welcome, Emma and Oliver.
I guess I'm kind of a visitor. It was my privilege to serve this congregation as minister for 12 years before I lost my way and went up to Philadelphia, then Asheville, then Hilton Head. I'm tired of starting over, so I decided I would move back home to the most loving, caring congregation I've ever been a part of. So it's good to be back. Steve Robinson is a good friend of mine, but now he gets to be my pastor. And Steve, you have my sympathy. But it is good to be back home, John. It really is.
Great to have you.
Okay. If you'd like to learn more about UUCC, please fill out a visitor card It's in the back of the seat in front of you or one of the seats in front of you. Please fill that out and put that in the collection plate. That puts you on our email list to have our updates each Thursday and learn more about us. So thank you for being with us today. Our cellist later today is our own Melody Smith. Spirit of light and life, come unto us. Now we'll have our opening song.
I invite Chuck and Elisa forward to help lead our opening song this morning, The Loving Kindness Meditation, with music by our friend Sharon Matchett, who is a longtime UUCC member and musician who now lives in New York.
Can I be heard? Now can I be heard? A little bit more? I'm trying to. Okay, I'm going to try to project. Okay, this song has 7 very simple signs to it, and Elisa and I are going to teach these signs to everybody, and then Anna's going to be singing it and playing it, and we're all going to sign together, okay? Now, if you can follow along in your paper, you'll see the signs that I'm going to show you. The first one is may. You always do this when you say may in the form of a blessing. I is myself, you is you, and all is everybody. Okay, now the sign for well is plucking at your shirt with both hands, just like this. The sign for safe is making your hands like this, cross them, and then turn them out. This is safe. The next one is feel joy. You take the middle finger of your right hand, touch your chest once or twice. That's feel. And joy is this. This is joy. And be, this is the sign for be at peace. This one's a little difficult. Put your hands together, kind of on top of each other. Slide them around and separate them. Okay, has everybody got it? Everybody got it? Shall I run through it one more time? This is may. This is I. You. All. Be well. Be safe. Feel joy. Be at peace. Be at peace. All right, are we ready? I think we're ready.
Be at invite our children to come down for our story for all ages. If you can join me down front. Yeah, I might do that. That's a great idea, bud. Oh, this is perfect. Good morning. Oh, and you have a bus full of people. We're bussing them in at the UUCC. Can I show them your bus? See, we're bussing them in. Good morning. All right, got a little quiz for you. Oh, let me hide the name. That would be, see if you know who this person is. Does anybody know? Did you say mommy?
No, I said Pappy.
Oh, Pappy, all right. All right.
That's Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Oh, that's Ruth Bader Ginsburg. That's exactly right. And I want to share a little bit about her today because today we are celebrating some extraordinary women that we call heroes. And so those who are fighting, and particularly people like Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who are fighting for justice. She was born Joan Ruth Bader, and because a bunch of kids at her school also were named Joan, she wanted to be different, and so she decided she would go by her middle name of Ruth. And so from that point on, her name was Ruth. In 1956, that's a long time ago, that's back there close to when John was born. Anyone know John over there? Did I miss it, John? Oh, keep going back? Okay, all right. She was one of only 9 women out of a class of a little over 500 students at Harvard University. She was one of only 9 women in that class going to law school. And you know what? There were all these different libraries on the Harvard campus, and one of them was prohibited from women going inside the library. Can you imagine that? A library on a campus of a university? But that was the case. Her and her 8 other colleagues weren't allowed to go to that particular library. Not for that reason, but she married her husband prior to going to law school, Marty Ginsburg, and they decided to move to New York, and so she finished her law degree at Columbia, where she also taught. She was a faculty member at Columbia Law School, and she spent a great deal of time there, as you can imagine, fighting for women's rights. She once found out that she and other faculty members were getting paid a lot less than the other men on faculty, and so that started this whole life of fighting for women's rights. And then in 1993, have you ever heard of the Supreme Court before? Yeah? You've heard of the Supreme Court? Well, guess what? In 1993, she was appointed as a Supreme Court justice. And she stayed on the Supreme Court until 2020 when she died at the age of 87. She spent all of her time on the Supreme Court fighting for people, fighting for equal rights, fighting for you, and fighting for me. And so we are so glad to celebrate this extraordinary woman, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And I want to share the quote on here. It says, this is her words, "Fight for the things that you care about, but do it in a way that will lead others to join you." All right? So everybody say her name, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Thank you for coming down this morning.
Please join me in singing the children out. The words are in your bulletins. Learn your lessons well, my children. Seek your truth in the wide unknown. Love each other, work together, and search for wisdom and happiness.
On the eve of this Veterans Day, we are celebrating the women, the heroes, particularly looking at those women of war, and we'll share a little bit more as we get into the service today. But I wanted to share as opening words a quote from one of the inspirations for the service today, and that is from a writer that many of you I know well, Kristen Hanna. And this is from her book entitled The Women. She writes, "The women had a story to tell, even if the world wasn't quite yet ready to hear it. And their story began with 3 simple words: we were there." This time I invite those who have candles of joy, candles of concern, to briefly come and share those with us and place your candles here this morning as we join our hearts together as a community.
I'm glad Stephen is going to save Neil's soul. I think that'll be good. I have a joy and concern, which is the upcoming Thanksgiving dinner. Melody and Abigail have been working hard on this already, so somehow I got named chair for the Thanksgiving dinner, but just it's a little late getting started, so that's why we want people to get their names on there as soon as possible. We will have vegan, hopefully, well, at least some, because Jane Gillespie's already volunteered to do that, and we will have turkey. We need to know how many turkeys, though, so we need to know how many people, so if you all would sign up as soon as possible, we'd appreciate it, and that's my joy and concern, and I'm using a virtual candle today. Thanks.
Good morning, I'm Jenny Verne. I have a real candle. The reason I have a real candle is I wanted to do this last week, and by the time I got back there, they were all gone, and I didn't want to do a virtual, so I have a real. I want to thank everyone who participated in our UUCC annual retreat 2 weeks ago. It was a wonderful affair at the mountain. We very, very much appreciated the fact that people responded so well. We had a good time. I'm lighting the candle because we couldn't take our normal route up to the mountain because 2 highways were totally washed out on our route. So we had to take a more circuitous route through Greenville and then up to Cashers. On the way, starting just outside of Columbia, but more and more and more as we got closer to Cashers, we saw hundreds. If somebody told me thousands, I would believe that. We saw hundreds of trees that had been sawed off to open the roads so we could get through. And I just want to light a candle of thanks for all those wonderful, wonderful people who have been working so hard over the past month to make life easier for those of us who didn't suffer from Helene. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Paul Canosian, and on the day we got the terrible news Wednesday I also got some also terrible news that a friend of mine from Allentown had gotten, about my age, he got a very virulent, fast-acting form of cancer, and he died that day. And I mean, sometimes you meet a person in life who's on the exact same musical wavelength as you. He had a radio show from Allentown. I was still tuning into it from here. And he was always a really good friend, real close, you know, my heart kind of buddy. And I really was so.
Hi, everyone. I'm Renee. I'm still fairly new here. And this candle is of concern, but also joy and hope. 8 years ago, when a similar situation happened, I became more active and an activist, and I ran for office back in Texas and met some of the most incredible human beings I ever have the privilege to know. And it was all because of a very tumultuous time. And so this is a candle of hope. I hope you will join me in doing more justice if you're interested in more justice. If you're interested in being a comfort to someone or being an advocate for someone who doesn't have a voice, let's get together, we'll figure it out. And I hope we make it through this, and in 8 years from now, we are in a much better place, and we're there together. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Amy Hawkinson. I have a candle of concern today for my sister-in-law and my wife. Becky is having a minor medical procedure done on Tuesday, and Carrie is having a diagnostic medical procedure done on Tuesday. And so just a candle of concern and hope that all goes well, and that the good news that we get is everything is perfectly fine.
Everyone, I'm Sarah Emily. You may have also seen me around here since I've been coming around sometime last year, and I'm with Guys Rising Cups. I did want to thank everyone who assisted either by donating candy or by coming out and being a part of our Halloween screening. It was a wonderful opportunity to engage with the community, and we had wonderful feedback. So thank you all for those of you who were able to assist. Also, another quick announcement. This is also a candle of thanks that we're gonna be able to do this. So if you are a part of the e-blasts, you probably saw all of the date information and everything, but next Saturday, we are having our Harvest, Farm, and Fun Festival at Melody's Farm. So it's from 1 to 3. Please do come out. There will be horseback riding, and there will be hay rides and all kinds of other fun things. It's an opportunity for us to get together and, you know, a little bit of a bonding experience for us. And we would love to have y'all there. If you have any questions, please let me know or Melody know. But we do hope to see you there, and just wonderful to be a part of this amazing community. So thank you, community.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jim, and I would like to light a candle today of joy and thanksgiving. I had several weeks ago, some of you may not know this, but I had my old 86-year-old aortic valve replaced successfully by modern science, and I want to give thanks. for these great advancements that we have. I never thought I would see 86, and now I'm going to see, hopefully beyond that, a number of years. And I just want to show my appreciation to everyone in the congregation who was so kind in being with me and my wife during this time of surgery and recovery. But I'm doing so much better, so grateful. Thank all of you.
Hi, it's me again. I grew up in the Marine Corps. I was a Marine Corps child, not a brat, but a Marine Corps child. And I would like to mention today my father, Bob Sargent, my brother, Michael Sargent, both of whom served in the Marine Corps, both of whom served in Vietnam, both of whom are still alive. I put a sign up in the back where the coffee pot is. It's a plaque, it's got a frame, and I invite everyone to read it because it has information about why we thank the veterans today.
I do have one candle from across the globe. Our partner church minister, Zsolt Solomosi, sent a message to me this morning that the congregation there surprised him in this morning's service with a celebration of his 20th year being an anniversary of his 20th year being their minister. So Zsolt tends to watch our YouTube services, so let him know that you are celebrating as well here across the sea. And then the last candle we light represents those silent joys and concerns that we're holding this morning. I invite you to take a few deep breaths and remember all that you've heard, all that's been shared, all that's been felt. As we prepare for our offering this morning, simple reminder that our Share the Plate recipient for this month of November is the Harvest Hope Food Bank. So if you'd like to contribute, there are several ways that you can do that, including in our offering plate today, but also online. I invite our ushers to come and receive our morning offering.
Our offertory music is the second part of Joan Tower's 6th fanfare for the uncommon woman.
receive our offering today in a fanfare, a symbol of our commitment to our good work. Thank you, Anna. Beautiful. So I apologize in advance today if this sermon sounds a little bit like a commercial for the novelist Kristen Hanna or her publisher. I assure you that that's not the intent, and I need to say I'm not receiving any funds from her or her publisher. However, you know, we do stream it on YouTube, so if you see it appropriate to share some funds, you can make your check out to the minister's discretionary fund. I'm sure they're watching, right? In a recognition of Veterans Day, for me, a reflection took place, takes me back in reflecting on this day to being in the capital of Poland a few weeks ago, around the 1st of August. Being in Warsaw on August 1st, which turns out to be quite a timely day to be walking around Warsaw, as August 1st is the 80th anniversary, was the 80th anniversary of the Warsaw Uprising, which was the most successful internal resistance movement during World War II, not successful in the sense that it really succeeded with a victory, but in the sense that it did have the ability and create a space to liberate Warsaw from being a German-occupied area so that the Soviets could come in and occupy that area. Walking around Warsaw on August 1st and going to the Old City, this was after our trip, our pilgrimage trip, where we had gone to Romania and Hungary. We had spent some time, part of the group, spent some time in Krakow as well and visited Auschwitz, Birkenau, and saw the camps there. So this was coming on the heels of all of that emotional trip. And we're walking around for downtime, my daughter and I alone in Warsaw, just to see the city, and stumbled across the old city of Warsaw in the midst of an August 1st celebration of the uprising, which means not only was everything decorated to celebrate that, but also lots of demonstrations, groups reenacting different events. And so we had quite the experience walking around Warsaw. There were demonstrations. Every once in a while, the alarms would sound for an air raid, which meant everyone had to go completely silent. And of course, at 5 o'clock, they did several moments of silence there. We came across, as we were walking back from being in the downtown, or the part of what's called Old City Warsaw, we came across a memorial exhibit that was in the courtyard area of Hoover Square in the Old City section. It was this beautiful layout that we had no idea was there, and we almost skipped it because we had seen so many different memorials, and something said, you need to check this out. This is pretty unique. And so Sarah and I walked down into that courtyard area, and we came across a memorial exhibit that was entitled Heroines Among Heroes. And I took this picture as we made the entrance into the area that's on the front of our order of service. Oh, I got photo credit for it. All right, I'm a photojournalist. Thank you, Cindy. The opening panel there, and I'm gonna, even though I asked for help from Don Cooper, I'm still gonna mess up this name. But from the advisor to the president of the IPN, Jan Josef Kasprzyk. That. What Don said. I'm not sure my mouth will do that, but thank you, Don. I appreciate that. But as you enter into that courtyard area, this is what is written or said about it. The days of glory, the days of triumph of good over evil, because those who fought 80 years ago took up this brave fight. Let us not forget that despite having lost this fight in a military and political sense, They were undoubtedly winners in the moral sense. And then as you enter this memorial area, it says that the mass participation of Polish women in the independence conspiracy during the World War II was not a coincidence, but a consequence of their activity for an independent Polish state. In the ranks of the Women's Voluntary Legion, they fought against the armies of the partitioners in 1918, against the Bolsheviks in 1920. In the interwar period, they underwent sanitary and military training. 47,000 female members before World War II were ready and prepared for the fighting. Women were also the first to get involved in the underground activities organized as early as the autumn of 1939 by the Service for Poland's Victory and many other independence organizations. As the military structures of the Polish underground state developed, the role of women steadily increased. They were no longer just this auxiliary group, but as a part of the military service, they became fully fledged soldiers in the underground army. They were found in all kinds of services, offices, financial, courier, radio, communication units, cipher cells, editorial offices of conspiratorial journals, and distribution and writing, intelligence, counterintelligence, quartermaster services, as well as being on the front line of battle and combat patrols, mining patrols, and different units. It's hardly surprising that on August 1st, 1944, 7,000 women soldiers of the Army joined the Warsaw Uprising. In total, more than 12,000 took part, which constituted about 20% of all those who were fighting. Around 800 nurses died during this time of the uprising. 300 female liaison officers died, including the heroic ones who guided people through the various canals. If you've ever been to Warsaw, you would know that you need a guide to get through those canals. Many female soldiers from the women's mining patrols of the Army headquarters all died on the barricades with the last stand. And then the last line says, the women that you see in this exhibition are just some of the many heroines of this uprising. It's really quite difficult to explain what it's like to walk through. I've never really experienced a memorial like this, where there are basically several panels, and on each panel is a story of different women, and they're spread throughout the courtyard area. There are photos there, quotes, stories about their life and the work that they did. So I've decided that making an executive decision without the board to really emphasize this, we all need to take a field trip to Warsaw. So we will be organizing that next week. I think we're leaving, we have to be back for Thanksgiving dinner, so we have to work that out. I know I can't, with my words, describe it, but I do want to share some of the stories and pictures that I saw. Helena, who was killed while carrying orders to a cutoff unit to let them know what they needed to do next because they were completely cut off from communication. Helena left behind 2 small children, and her last words were, "They will continue this struggle." Lucia, who led several groups of insurgents across the Vistula River, guiding them to safety, she chose to cross the river again after being safe herself and joined a bombardment campaign where she was killed during the fighting. Mira, who worked in the underground movement of the Red Cross, she was arrested in 1940 for providing care to soldiers of the resistance. While arrested, she continued then to provide care to the fellow prisoners. When she was finally released in 1942, she became the first woman in the intelligence unit of the Polish army. During the uprising, she served as an intelligence officer and a nurse. She was wounded several times and narrowly escaped capture on many occasions. She was awarded the Silver Cross, as all of these women were. Shifoa, the chief liaison officer to women, during the uprising, she became the leader of the Alarm Network. and ultimately became commander of the Women's Combat Unit. She went missing in 1945 and was assumed killed in action. Julia, she joined the Army as a press distributor and carried messages of high importance that were meant to undermine the intelligence of the enemy. During the uprising, she also decided to join a battalion group, and she is known for carrying 3 male soldiers who were wounded from the front lines back to a hospital where they could receive care. She remained at the hospital caring for those soldiers, and that hospital was attacked, and she lost her leg during the attack. Standing in that space in Hoover Square, story after story, face after face, name after name, these extraordinary women of war. And not only experiencing that myself, but walking through each of these panels, watching my daughter read about women 5,000 miles away, and separated also by a generation or two, these amazing women. Since I didn't think that was enough reflection, I decided upon returning home to read Kristen Hanna's book, The Women. My wife and I read books together, and it was her choice, so she chose The Women by Kristen Hanna, and she had read many Kristen Hanna books before. So I thought a nice break from the serious reflection of being overseas and all that we experienced. And Kristen Hanna and The Women weaves a beautiful story, telling the story of nurses that were sent to the front lines during the Vietnam War, following the character of Frances, who's called Frankie, and telling her experiences of the war in great detail. Kristen Hanna spent years and years researching to make sure that her telling of the story reflected the experiences of those involved. And it doesn't also tell the experience of her time in war, but also her return home from war and the lack of recognition and the lack of care for PTSD. Her words that I read on the lips of Frankie this morning for our opening words were words that she shouted at a VA hospital when she was refused care because everyone said women weren't there in Vietnam after she had spent 2 tours on the front lines. And since I'm a glutton for punishment, I decided on my own to read The Nightingale, which is probably one of the best books I've read in a long time. It tells the story of 2 sisters in France during World War II. Sisters that really came and approached being occupied in France by the Nazi regime from different perspectives and went about it trying to accomplish different things in different ways, but ultimately tremendously involved in the work. And I'm doing all I can to make sure that I don't spoil it because I know it's going to show up on book club at some point, right, around here. But in writing about one of the sisters, Kristen Hanna writes, when she thought about getting involved, Vianne, who is one of the sisters, says Vianne didn't hesitate. She knew now that no one could be neutral, not anymore. And as afraid as she was of risking Sophie's life, her daughter, she was suddenly more afraid of letting her daughter grow up in a world where good people did nothing to stop evil, where a good woman could turn her back on a friend in need. The women of war. In our culture today, we have stories like The Handmaid's Tale. And The Handmaid's Tale, in its description, seems so far-fetched from reality when it's really not. The scary thing about it is it's very possible. But it's described as a dystopian depiction of the world. And I'm aware that what we often describe as dystopian, some twisted people in our world today would describe as utopian. Being a dad of daughters, I resonate with Vianne and worry about the future world that we are creating. I wish I had better news, said Jen Psaki this week. I wish I had better news for my daughters on Wednesday morning. I wish I could say that I was not fearful, speaking for myself, for the future of women. I wish I could say that I'm not fearful for the future of the LGBTQ community. I wish I could say that I believe that same-sex marriage was firm and protected and would never be overturned. I wish I could say that transgender care would always grow and always be available. But I wonder, what do I say to my daughters? And reflecting on that on Wednesday morning, my mind goes back and I feel my body standing in Hoover Square in Warsaw. There was a moment when we were there that I got separated from Sarah, and she was reading every word of every panel. And I stepped off to the side and just wanted to kind of get being a dad, you know, take a picture of your daughter in this amazing space with the river in the background. And before I could even take a picture, I just caught a sight of Sarah surrounded by these panels, these amazing women. I remember looking back across that exhibit and seeing her standing there 500 miles from home, showing the images and telling the stories of extraordinary women. She was captivated by their lives, and it almost looked like she was just held and enveloped by their images. Heroines among heroes. There's a beautiful phrase in Christian scripture that, in outlining several people who were involved in the fight for justice, writes, "Seeing that we are surrounded now by this great cloud of witnesses, let us do the work that's in front of us." That's exactly how I felt looking at Sarah that day. She has seen the worst of humanity walking through Auschwitz, and she's seeing the best of it right now. She is literally surrounded by a great cloud of witness. History tells us that we are surrounded by extraordinary women, amazing people of all gender who have lived through tragic and difficult, almost impossible circumstances to survive. And they continue to believe, they continue to hope, they continue to fight, and they continue to bend that arc toward justice. So I invite you right now just to close your eyes and feel the strength of these women in history. And let their courage and fortitude tingle on your skin and fill your lungs with hope. Take deep breaths of hope as you think about them. And I invite you to open your eyes and look around you and make eye contact with at least 3 people in this place today. You are sitting here in a 75-year-old church, not this building, I don't know how old this building is, but a congregation, 75 years, that's not going anywhere. You are surrounded this morning, no matter how you feel about what's going on in the world around you, you are surrounded by warriors. So on the heels of this week, we do not huddle in fear. We do not hang our heads in despair. This is a season of becoming intoxicated with the courage of our ancestors before us and our colleagues beside us. This is a season of resilience in the face of extreme adversity. This is a season of stoking the fire of this chalice and then opening the arms of this congregation wide to protect those who are hurting, those who are being oppressed. This is the season to arm ourselves with love and trust that it always wins as we fight for justice. We have too much work to do to waste time in despair and despondency. So let us tend to our good work.
Amen. Our closing hymn is hymn number 300, With Heart and Mind. Please stand in body or spirit to join in singing.
Closing words come from Kristen Hanna from the Nightingale. Men tell stories, women get on with it. For us, it was a shadow war. There were no parades for us when it was over, no medals, no mentions in history books. But we did what we had to do during the war, and when it was over, we picked up the pieces and we started our lives again. Wounds heal, love lasts, and we remain.
Please join in singing our congregational benediction.
Thank you, Chuck, for not only helping us with that every week in our song, but also our covenant and now teaching us a song. So thank you so much for what you do. And her stool that she stands on also gives me a place to sit during children's story, as Bud said. Y'all didn't hear Bud, but he said, you won't have to get up so far from the floor, because he hears me groan. They sit on the front row. Thank you all who are part of our service today. If you're visiting with us the first time, second time, we just invite you to stick around, give us a chance to get to know you as we get to know you and you get to know us as a community. We have a social hour back there where we have an opportunity to do that. Thanks to everyone for being a part of our service today.